Have you ever noticed that in moments when everything is going well, something inside you tightens? As if your mind can't believe in this happiness, as if it's waiting for a catch, and you start destroying everything with your own hands, sabotaging relationships, postponing dreams, returning to old habits. Why does this happen? Why do people fear the very thing they so desperately want? Today, you'll learn the dark secret of your psychology that keeps you in a cage even when the door is open. And this isn't about laziness. This is about how your brain protects you from happiness. Get ready to learn the truth. Most people live with the belief that fear is a reaction to danger. But the truth is, the strongest fear is the fear of the unknown. And happiness to your mind is the unknown, because you're used to pain, to disappointment, to the internal dialogue that whispers, "You're not good enough." This has become your comfort zone. Yes, even suffering can be comfortable if it's familiar. Your brain is designed for survival, not for happiness. And this changes everything. It remembers every failure, every rejection, every moment of pain, and turns it into a defense mechanism. Psychologists call this negative anchoring. When you were a child and first faced disappointment, your father didn't come to your celebration. Your mother said something cold. A friend betrayed you. Your mind recorded this as a threat. And now, when an opportunity to be happy appears, this ancient alarm system activates. It says, "Stop. This is dangerous." You already know how this ends. Your brain doesn't want to take risks. It chooses predictable pain over unpredictable happiness. And you live in this prison that you built yourself. Imagine a young guy who spent his whole life fighting for recognition. He worked, built himself, became better. And then one day the girl he dreamed about starts showing interest. She texts first, laughs at his jokes, looks at him like no one ever has before. And what does he do? He pulls away, stops responding to messages, starts looking for flaws in her. Why? Because his brain doesn't believe in this scenario. It believes in rejection because rejection is what it knows. This is the first trap. You're not afraid of happiness itself. You're afraid of losing it. Your psychology works preemptively. Better to destroy everything yourself than wait for life to do it for you. This is called self-destructive behavior, and it's not weakness. This is a defensive reaction of the brain trying to save your emotions from future pain. But here's the paradox. By protecting you from suffering, it guarantees it. The second layer of this secret is even darker. Happiness requires you to change, and your identity is built on suffering. Think about it. How many years have you been telling yourself a story about who you are? I'm the one nobody understands. I'm the one who always has bad luck. I'm not made for this. This story has become part of you. It defines your habits, your relationships, your way of thinking. And when happiness appears, it threatens this story. It says, maybe you were wrong about yourself, and your mind panics. Because if you're not who you thought you were, then who are you? This is an existential crisis in miniature. You prefer to stay in the familiar role of victim than risk becoming someone new. A girl complains for years that all men are the same, that nobody sees the real her. But when a guy appears who actually listens, who cares, who stays, she finds reasons to leave. He's too soft. This is boring. I don't feel the spark. In reality, she feels fear. Fear that her story, "I always choose the wrong ones," will turn out to be a lie. Fear that the problem isn't in the men but in herself. And this is unbearable, because awareness requires responsibility, and responsibility requires change. This brings us to the third truth. Happiness requires vulnerability. And vulnerability is the antithesis of control. Your whole life you've been building walls. You learned not to show pain, not to trust too quickly, not to hope too much. These walls protected you, but happiness cannot pass through them. To be happy, you must open up. You must allow someone to see the real you, with all your fears, wounds, imperfections. And this is the scariest thing in the world, because if you open up and get rejected, you'll be defenseless. Your brain knows this, and it does everything to prevent this scenario. It forces you to keep distance, not to fall too much in love, not to believe too much, not to dream too much. But you know what happens? You live in a mode of waiting for catastrophe. And catastrophe comes anyway, not from outside, but from within. Because life without vulnerability isn't life. It's existence. Here's the fourth insight that will change your thinking. Your brain doesn't distinguish imaginary threat from real. When you imagine everything falling apart, how a partner leaves, how a dream shatters, your body reacts as if it's already happening. Cortisol fills your blood. Your heart beats faster. Your mind switches to fight or flight mode. And happiness becomes the enemy, because happiness makes you careless. And carelessness, in your ancient brain's understanding, is deadly dangerous. Have you ever noticed that on the eve of something important, a date, an interview, a big opportunity, you start thinking about the worst? This isn't pessimism. This is a preparation mechanism. Your brain rehearses failure so you'll be ready for pain. But here's the problem. When you constantly rehearse failure, you program yourself for it. Your emotions, your behavior, your energy begin to match the scenario. And you create what you fear. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. Psychology calls this catastrophizing. And this is one of the most destructive habits of the mind. So what do you do? How do you break this cycle? First, realize that your fear is not truth. It's an echo of the past. Every time you feel that tightening in your chest, that anxiety before something good, stop. Ask yourself, is this happening now? Or is this a memory of what was? Your brain can't distinguish, but you can teach it. Second, rewrite your story. You're not a victim of your past. You're the architect of your future. Start noticing moments when you sabotage yourself, when you pull away from love, when you postpone a dream, when you return to old habits. Name it out loud. I'm afraid, and that's okay, but I won't let fear control me. Third, embrace vulnerability as strength. It's not weakness to show who you are. This is the highest act of courage, because only through vulnerability is real intimacy possible. Only through risk is real reward possible. Your brain will resist. It will scream, danger, retreat, but you're stronger than your brain. You can feel fear and still move forward. Here's the truth nobody tells you. Happiness isn't the absence of fear. It's the ability to live despite it. It's choosing to trust life even when your mind insists everything will collapse. It's the courage to open up even when every cell of your body demands you hide. You're afraid to be happy because happiness demands everything from you. It demands your honesty, your bravery, your willingness to change. But you know what? You've already changed, just by reading to this point, just by starting to ask questions. Your brain will pull you back into familiar pain, but your soul knows the truth. It wants more, and you deserve that more. Happiness won't come to you. You must go to it, through fear, through doubts, through all the voices that say you don't deserve it. Because in the end, the only thing you should fear is living your whole life and never knowing what it's like to be truly happy. The choice is yours, always has been, always will be. Your mind created the cage, but you hold the key. You can continue living in fear of happiness, or you can take a step toward the unknown. Yes, it's scary. Yes, it's risky. But you know what's even scarier? Looking back and realizing you never tried, that you let fear steal your life. Don't let that happen.